Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Today a review of a very interesting new watch from Vario. So Vario is a brand I have covered quite a lot here on my channel because I have a great relationship with this brand and they are very kind to send me straps and watches in for review. This is the Empire watch which I reviewed. This is a manually wound dress style watch I reviewed quite some time ago and I still enjoy this watch a lot. But today it's a completely new offering from Vario. It's a watch that isn't in production yet. It's a prototype and this is the 1918 Trench. And as you can see, this watch is very much inspired by World War I watches, back when wristwatches were actually rebuilt pocket watches. And that is why you have this look of the watch with the small seconds at 6 o'clock and you have these big numerals as well as these very nice hands. Also, you can see we get these wire locks, which is actually something that they did back in the days when they had to take a pocket watch and make it into a wristwatch. They actually applied these wire locks to be able to fit a strap to the pocket watch. This watch will come in several different versions and it will be priced at around $250 as far as Vario has told me until now. It will be going online in the Kickstarter campaign in November and it will be sent out the first batch in February 2021. So if you're interested in this watch, you can go to the link down in the description and visit Vario's website, and then you can sign up for a newsletter and be prepared when this goes online. You can get different versions of this. I also really like the white version with the kind of Fotina loom, but this is a very cool version as well. This is kind of a grayish style with white numerals, and as you can see on your screen right now, the loom is absolutely amazing. This is C3 loom and you can see it really glows. This is something that of course the old World War I watches didn't do. They didn't have loom, a lot of them anyway. So back in World War I, which was a horrible war, it was kind of a stress factor that if you had to see what time it was, you had to dig into your pocket to bring out your pocket watch. And that is why actually the World War I, this horrible bloody war, was actually also a very important war regarding horology. Because back in World War I, the watch companies started to actually see that the market for pocket watches was maybe a little bit declining because it's very impractical to bring out a pocket watch from your pocket when in a trench, when in war or in other situations. And then they started to look into actually making wristwatches so you can at a glance at your wrist see what time it is. And this is kind of an homage, a tribute to all the brave soldiers on both sides who fought in that bloody war, and also an homage to watchmaking, to horology from back when they actually transformed pocket watches into wristwatches. So we get a very faithful vintage style here because you get a watch, as you can see here, just short of 37 millimeters, thickness of a little more than 12 and a half. The lug width is really nice because it's 19. So when you look into the strap options from Vario, you can find a lot of different straps. They produce some nice 19 millimeter straps as far as I know as well. And then the lock to lock, it doesn't really make sense because it's these wire locks, but you get approximately 44 millimeters. And let's have a close up here. The watch is with a double domed sapphire crystal, which is treated with AR treatment. I'm not sure that it's actually treated, this prototype of this 1918 Trench, because as you can see on your screen right now, outside in the sunlight, it really just has a lot of reflections on the glass. So I hope they will improve this part of the watch before it goes online, or at least before they actually send out watches in February if you decide to actually buy this watch. You have a very nice brushed side of the case here and this kind of bezel which is polished, which gives a nice contrast. These very short wire locks, which also makes this watch wear a little bit smaller than it actually is. But again, it also looks a little bit bigger because it's all dial. You have a screw down crown at 4 o'clock, which is really nice, signed with the V for Vario. You get 100 meters of water resistance, which is really nice for a dress style vintage inspired watch like this. And the screw down crown just really gives you the security that you can actually keep out the water from the watch. You also get a sapphire see-through case back and the back here. And this is a automatic Miyota movement. This is the Miyota 82S5 automatic movement with 21 joules, hand winding, hacking. It's a 21,600 vibrations per hour movement. And again, it's a 100 meter water resistant watch. So a really nice package in my opinion if you really like the smaller style and also these very vintage inspired watches. And at around a price of $250 at the Kickstarter campaign and $350 if you are not buying it in the Kickstarter campaign, I think you really get a nice package here. You can opt for 2 different style of straps. I have this blue strap on this one, and it actually comes as a bund strap, so you would actually put this part on and then you will wear it like this on the wrist. I really don't like bund straps. I think they look pretty stupid in my opinion, so I took this off, and then you just have a nice blue leather strap. You can also opt to have a one-piece NATO strap if you rather want to wear a watch on this one-piece NATO strap. If you put a NATO strap on this watch, it will wear a little bit bigger than it wears on a strap, on a leather strap or a 2-piece strap, because you will get a part underneath the watch. So you can opt for one of these 2 styles of straps, or you can buy this watch and find a bunch of nice straps you can attach to this watch. So this is how the Vario Trench Watch prototype looks on my 17.5 centimeter in circumference wrist. It wears really nicely. It's very vintage inspired. For me, I just think it wears a little too small, but I'm not really used to any watches below 39 millimeters in diameter. And most of my watches, my comfort zone is around maybe 39 to 42 millimeters. So this is on the smaller side. But as I said before, you can see, because it's such a big dial, because you only have a very slim bezel, it actually wears a little bit bigger than the 37 millimeters. I really think that it's cool that Vario actually makes these vintage inspired smaller sizes. A lot of microbrands, they're really into dive watches and they're into making these big chunky dive watches. But Vario, just as well as with the 38 millimeter Empire, they're not afraid to make smaller size watches, very vintage inspired watches, which I really think is a cool thing. So I have absolutely no complaints about this watch. It's not my style. I don't like the bund strap, but you can just pull it off. You need a screwdriver to unscrew this screw when you're changing straps, which is also very interesting, because these wire locks, they're attached. It's not like you have a spring bar, so you have to unscrew the strap, which is also a really nice vintage inspired thing. The loom is absolutely amazing. The movement is a nice tried and tested movement. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but it's a decent movement. The style just isn't me, and the size is a little too small for me. But if you like this style, and if you like these vintage inspired World War I watches, then this should definitely be a watch that you look into. Again, have a look down in the description. You can find a link to Vario's website where you can read a lot more about this watch and see all the different variations of this watch. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. What do you think about this World War I inspired watch? And do you like these classic looking watches? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and share this video on the forums and on Facebook groups and with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.